Yo, what's going on? Welcome into the show. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, as always, I greatly appreciate all of you for taking the time out of your day to join me here on the show. And coming up, this is really exciting. What's exciting? Well, we are starting to see some of the young players on the defensive side of the football for this Eagles team develop right before our eyes. And we're talking about all of these young bulls coming up here over the next several minutes. First, I want to hear from you. If you are encouraged by the defensive improvements and adjustments that you've seen Vic Fangio and these players make the last two games, resulting in two dominant defensive performances and two victories for the Eagles, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If not, that's fine. I want you to comment why. A common response to the Eagles' success defensively of late. But Chase, stop overreacting. The Eagles have played two bad opponents. What are you talking about? We don't know if this Eagles defense is for real. I'm not sure if the defense is for real either, but I get excited when I see good defensive football because to start the year, the Eagles were playing porous defensive football. Now, next week here in Week 8, this upcoming Sunday, we are going to see how Philadelphia fares against one of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League as the Eagles travel to Cincinnati to play Joe Burrow and the Bengals. But look, this is the National Football League. Any given week, wild things can happen. We see it all the time in a league of parity in which a majority of games are decided by one score or less. And so when the Eagles go out there and dominate, I'm going to talk about it because dominance is dominance. And how the Eagles have dominated Cleveland and New York beats the alternative, which is what we saw going into the bye week and what we saw for a majority of the beginning of the 2024 season. Philadelphia especially was terrible against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What were we calling for? Changes in personnel? Check. Adjustments? Check. These young players showing up? Check. So yesterday on the show, I simply posed this question. Is this Eagles defense legit? So many people in the comment section saying, Chase, you're ridiculous. Stop overreacting. The Browns and the Giants stink. Look, Philadelphia in their last two games has given up 12 combined points. They have given up 4 field goals. They have not given up a touchdown in 60 minutes of play. They have 13 sacks in their last two games, and against the Giants, they gave up 119 total yards and surrendered 2.2 yards per play. How are you not excited about the developments that we have seen from this Eagles defense, especially getting after the quarterback, dialing up some blitzes, Vic Fangio being aggressive, this Eagles defense finding an identity, starting to adapt to a new scheme. And against the G-men, Nakobe Dean, 2 sacks. Have we found something where he can be used as a blitzer? That takes the role of Devin White, who's no longer on this football team. Jalen Carter continues to have a Pro Bowl, All-Pro caliber season. He had 2 more sacks against the Giants. Nolan Smith has come alive since the bye week. He's been an awesome pass rusher. 2 sacks in as many games, 1 against the Giants. Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Jalyx Hunt, all notching a sack on Sunday in Week 7. So here on the show today, how about these young bulls? In particular, these 5 players who we're going to talk about in further detail here today. Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean. We'll throw in Jordan Davis in there a little bit so that we could talk about 4 of the Philly Bulldogs. But a reason why this is significant and the reason why I'm devoting an entire show to this, if these players work out, how did Howie Roseman pull this off? That's the title of today's video because these are building blocks for Philadelphia's defense. And if Howie Roseman hit on these players in the last 3 drafts, what allows you to be a sustainable winner in the National Football League? Drafting and developing young talent, especially on a defense last year, which was historically bad, and now have the Eagles flipped the page? Things are moving in a good direction. And for Howie Roseman, the Eagles general manager, he's so savvy manipulating the cap and with contracts, pulling off highway robbery trades. He's drafted a lot of good players throughout his 2 tenures. Before Chip Kelly banished him, and then after Chip Kelly got fired. But building the defense is something that Howie Roseman has struggled with. It's a big reason why Philadelphia brought in a veteran defensive mind in Vic Fangio, because the Eagles were hoping if we get personnel right, he can handle the coaching and put those players in a position to succeed. And the Eagles have gone, on the defensive side of the pill, from slow starts to finding a stride, especially these young players here. Because early this year and early in their careers at times, the returns on Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Nolan Smith, in particular, the Philly Bulldogs, have been mixed. Jalen Carter, obviously the best player among that grouping, but are they starting to turn the corner? Sometimes we want immediate results to be yielded, and we expect these players to be superstars right from the jump, when in reality, sometimes players need a little bit of a runway in order to develop. And against this Giants team, when you perform this well, it also gives you confidence, and it trusts the coaching staff to put you on the field. And how about what these young players did? Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis against the Giants had 6 pressures, 6 total tackles, 3 sacks. Nakobe Dean by himself, 4 pressures, 2 sacks, and 11 total tackles. And all 8 of the Eagles' sacks against the Giants came when Philadelphia rushed 4. That is huge for the secondary, because if you can drop 7 back and get pressure with 4, you're going to find positive results more times than not. This Eagles defense was a joke last year. So to see the improvements being made and the development before our very eyes, led by these young players, is big time for this Eagles team right now in 2024, but also moving forward, because that allows you to be a sustainable and consistent winner in the National Football League. So if Howie Roseman has hit on Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and right now the early returns, especially the last couple of weeks, are pretty damn good. That is a great sign for this organization as we project ahead, and great for this fan base because the city of Philadelphia loves quality defense. More to get to here on the show, but first, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are 54 people away from 88,000 subscribers. We should be able to get there with this video alone. Coming up next, we are going to talk about Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, not former Georgia Bulldogs, but playing pivotal roles for this Eagles defensive attack. So be sure to stay tuned for that, because the numbers for these 2 rookies from the 2024 NFL draft class, pretty eye-opening. First, we want to welcome a brand new sponsor on board under the Chat Sports umbrella and right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. That is DraftKings. You want to know how you can support the show? Of course, hitting that thumbs up icon, liking the video, commenting, subscribing, sharing the video, but signing up with our friends at DraftKings. Now, you will notice that the promo code we are pushing is Sixers Chat. Myself, producer Chip, we grew up in the Philadelphia area. We also have a Sixers channel, 76ers Now, right here on YouTube under the Chat Sports umbrella. So if you like the Sixers, season starting on Wednesday against the Milwaukee Bucks, go over there and subscribe. But DraftKings sponsoring our Sixers show, but since this is a Philadelphia show, we're pushing the code Sixers Chat, and here are some more details on that. NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets that you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. So again, if you use that code SixersChat and you bet $5, you get $200. Producer Chips Parlay, 13-1 odds, plus 1,300. Celtics Knicks, NBA opening night. Great matchup in the Eastern Conference. Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. Jalen Brunson over 28.5 points. Jason Tatum under 26.5 points. And Karl Anthony Towns over 2.5 3-pointers made. Download the DraftKings app. Use that code SixersChat. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, right? But another refresher and a reminder. Philadelphia, 8 sacks against the Giants. Those 8 sacks came with the Eagles rushing 4. What does it mean when you can get to the quarterback when you're rushing 4? Quarterback doesn't have a lot of time to throw. They don't have a lot of time to survey the field, but the quarterback is holding on to the ball because you have sound coverage on the back end. And right now, Philadelphia has 2 rookies who are not just holding it down on that back end at outside corner and at slot corner. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are thriving. And Quinyon Mitchell, I'm not even kidding, is having a Pro Bowl level season going into Week 8 for the 4-2 Eagles. The 22nd overall pick has played high-level ball, and it looks like he could be a stud corner in this league, and he's been arguably the best cornerback in this draft class so far. As a rookie, Quinyon Mitchell, keep in mind, the cornerback position is not easy to play considering wide receiver talent, the rules catering to offenses, all of these bright offensive minds. He is 4th in the NFL in pass breakups. He is 3rd in forced incompletions, according to Pro Football Focus. When he was matched up against Malik Nabers, the star Giants rookie wide receiver, he was targeted twice. He gave up 1 catch for 14 yards, and on one of the plays, he bullied Malik Nabers, pushing him to the ground 2 times. He has a passer rating when targeted of 79.8, and that's 38th in the NFL, which is in between a couple of All-Pros, Jalen Ramsey and Trent McDuffie. So what Quinyon Mitchell is doing right now is very impressive, and the Eagles had not drafted a cornerback in the first round since 2002. When Joe Banner and Andy Reid drafted Lito Shepherd, they finally ended that spell by drafting Quinyon Mitchell, and they have knocked that selection out of the park. Love the instincts that he has, the ball skills that he has, the mechanics that he has at that cornerback spot, and how he plays with the swagger, toughness, and level of physicality. As for Cooper DeJean has made a seamless transition. And when you're a defensive back and you're not calling a defensive back's name throughout the game, and when they're not mentioned on the broadcast, oftentimes it can be a good thing because that means that they're not giving up catches, right? And in Cooper DeJean's first 2 starts, he has been very good as a Swiss Army knife for defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. And his Pro Football Focus grades are awesome. He has an overall PFF grade of 82.1. I know, limited sample size, but he's off to a really good start. A coverage grade of 86.8. He is giving up just 3.2 yards per catch, a passer rating of 74.1, and he has punt return ability. Britton Covey is a very talented punt returner. And I said this in the lead up to the season. While Britton Covey has been one of the top punt returners in the game the last year and a half going into the start of this year, he doesn't have the speed, the physicality, the juice, and the overall athletic ability that Cooper DeJean has. We saw that against Cleveland. We saw that against the New York Giants, especially on that long punt return of 28 yards in which Cooper DeJean was trucking defenders and breaking tackles. And what I love about how Vic Fangio is using DeJean, he's using DeJean the way that I want him to use DeJean and the way that maximizes him as a player and as an athlete. It's his versatility, which can be very rare and hard to find at that DB spot. And this is why DeJean had first-round talent. If he didn't break his leg last year, he probably would have gone in the first round. He's lined up in the slot almost exclusively. 90 snaps, right? but he's been in the box 8. He's been along the defensive line for 2 snaps. He's played outside corner for a snap and free safety for a snap. This just allows you to use him all around the field, and then he can just go hunt and make some plays. So we talked about a lot of young players on today's show. Which young player are you the most excited about? It's challenging. I'm going to go with Quinyon Mitchell, but I love good edge rushers. I love good defensive tackles who can break down the interior of the pocket, get after the quarterback. And Cooper DeJean, he's been balling too. So the corners, the ends, Nakobe Dean, we haven't seen good linebacker play in a minute since TJ Edwards. All the signs and all the arrows pointing up right now, and hopefully they can continue that the rest of the year and against the Bengals. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and sign up with DraftKings.